Okay, here goes something you don't see every day. Well, especially in this kind of shape. An old vintage tube tester. Sencore MU-140 mutual conductance tube. It says checker, but tester. This is considered one of the best made, and most tube testers just test emission, which is how much I guess juice the ground or the cathode got, that puts out, the electrons. But most tube testers don't actually test gain, or don't test the grids and the gain at all. To do that, you need a mutual dynamic tester, which are a little bit more complicated, went for a lot more money, but they tested the tubes a lot better than just an emission tester. And this is, I guess the Cadillac of tube testers, and the BK747 was BK's version of a mutual tester, and I guess that would be the Lincoln. They did make some very expensive, like TV7 tube testers, which, tested a lot more extensively, but those were, for, maybe a professional or audiophile. Like, I want one tube at 99.9 and I want to match it to another one at, 99.9 and stuff like that. And in the radio world, I think, that's pretty much useless. We don't, except for amplifiers, you don't really need a match pair or match tubes or anything like that, for different stages and gains. They don't need to be matched unless it's a push-pull pair or something like that. So anyway, this one is really good shape, as you can see. Not quite mint, but on a scale of 1 to 10, considering this thing is probably from, I would say, the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, so it's probably like 50 years old. This thing is in really good shape, and it works well too. I have a couple of these, and I got a BK too, but this is kind of my favorite, using the Sencores. So we're just gonna run it right quick. It's already set up for a 12AX7 tube, which goes in there, and I got it set up for emission. Well, let's turn it on, let it warm up, and it's highlighted in yellow here, and you can set it up there for emission testing, and then you go over here and reset the stuff for the mutual dynamics test. And then you could test it for shorts, and grid leakage is another one. That's important in the radio field, because if the tube is leaking, it's going to feed back and just cause all kind of other problems, where the output is good, but since the tube is leaking, it's just going to be all sorts of problems. It helped warm up if I turn the power strip on, right? So, and these are the different settings for the tube tester, and that's the emission going up there for that tube. So this 12AX7 I stuck in there is reading 95%, and I'm not going to do it, but when I go over to the emission test and reset it, and then when you do that, you have to push that button and it'll test emission, and it's about 90% with the mutual conductance test. Another test this has, besides leakage, which this one is low, it's the life test. You hold the life test button, and it lowers the voltage going to the filaments. And on that lower filament voltage, if the emission starts dropping a lot, the tube doesn't have much life left. It's going to give up the ghost and not put out pretty soon. But as you can see on this one, that life is just holding right up in there. So I got a tube that's reading 90% on the emission, and it's reading also, well, it's actually reading 95, I think. On the emission, it's reading 90 on the mutual conductance. If I did that, no leakage, and a good live test. And then if you wanted to, you can do a short test. We'll put that on shorts and rotate the grids and see if the short light up, and then you got a short on it. And that's about it. Sencores Continental. This one's the MU-140, and then they made an MU-150, which I think this one has an internal fuse. So if something happened catastrophic, even though it's set up so that if something shorts in it, it's not going to damage it, or normally it wouldn't take out the fuse. But if something happens and it does take out the fuse, on this one you got to take the screws out and take it apart to get to the fuse and change it. Whereas on the MU-150, it's the exact same tube tester, except they decided that, hey, let's put a circuit breaker in it. So if it blows the circuit breaker, because you had a tube that went crazy or something, blew it, you could just reset the circuit breaker and you didn't have to take the thing apart to internally get into it. And that's the only difference between the Sencore Continental MU-140. And MU stands for the mutual, conductance test, and also the MU-150 with the circuit breaker. They even advertised this as, for the future, if they came out with different tube sockets and configurations that this one have, you can take this plate off, and it's got 4 holes where you could add sockets and stuff if needed to. To update it. However, this is one of the later, tube testers made, and then came along the transistor, and basically the tube went, not totally towards the dinosaur, but tube stuff is maybe except for radio and a few people like stereophiles. I love my tube amplifier on my stereo. Nothing sounds like it, but and then for power, like you want high output, tubes still rule right now, but that's coming to an end pretty soon with LDMOS and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's going to be it for my video of this super nice Continental MU-140, one of the best tube testers, or regular tube testers ever made. And this one is in super nice condition. I likey nicey. Alright, that's it for this one. Bye.